Live, local, news. KSBY News at 6 starts right now with live breaking news.
We do start with breaking news. Police still have the 100 block of North Milpa Street shut down in Santa Barbara while they try to make contact with someone inside a home there. Our Caroline Lowe was in the area and sent us this video of the scene. We don't have a lot of details at this point, but police do say they got a call from a distraught relative just before 3 o'clock this afternoon, and that led police to the area. A 25-year-old woman was seen earlier in the day carrying a gun. She has 2 children, a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. At this time, the women and children have not been seen, and no one has been able to contact her. We're going to stay on this story until we get more details. Follow us on ksby.com or more in our broadcast tonight if some news comes on the developing story. In other news, tonight, concerned residents are in an uproar as the Planning Commission plans to address their concerns in a meeting tomorrow. Let's get you up to speed first. The landfill has been operating since the late 1960s. This is currently has less than 7 years worth of capacity left. The expansion would add an additional 46 acres to the footprint there. Cameron Polam spoke with the San Luis Obispo city planner about some of the issues people living near the site have and how they plan to move forward. What do you have for us, Cameron?
John, lots of issues are circling around with residents, and I do have to point out that more than 25 people against this proposal showed up today when they found out that I was looking into it, and I got to see firsthand how close this may actually come to one person's home.
That face over there is going to move this direction, and where this tree sits now, they propose to put a stockpile of dirt, which will be less than 200 feet from a permitted residence.
That residence is home to Earl Darwin, who's been living there since he bought the house in 1989.
We, as neighbors, are concerned with noise, dust, and odor.
Something Earl has learned to deal with, but now that the landfill will reach his front door, he and other neighbors have a few other worries about the expansion. One being the new proposed entrance to the facility.
Having the entrances close is a number of concerns. We have school buses from both districts turn around here, which that entrance is proposed 200 feet from Patchett Road.
Neighbors also added people traveling down the 227 reach high speeds, and the added traffic along with the new entrance could make it more dangerous. City planner Jason Giffen assured me those voices aren't going unheard.
Tomorrow's hearing, we're going to have agencies coming and speaking about those issues, as well as staff will be responding to each of those issues that have come up related to noise, odor, and trash.
Giffen says if they are approved to move forward by the Board of Supervisors, they will seek to obtain entitlements for the land expansion, but added,
However, given the controversy around this, an appeal to the Board of Supervisors is a possible scenario.
Now, I do want to point out that nothing is final yet, and residents are being asked to attend a planning board meeting tomorrow night that will run at 6 p.m. at City Hall. Now, I do also want to say that this particular landfill has received numerous awards for its management. Now, tomorrow I'll do a follow-up story to compare how our nearest landfills are being run and what residents are saying that they were promised more than 20 years ago regarding this landfill expansion. Live and local in the newsroom, I'm Cameron Polam, KSBY News.
All right, Cameron, we look forward to that report. Thank you. At the hearing on June 14th, 17 people turned out to testify about the expansion. 7 were in favor of it, 10 stood against it. Santa Maria police are looking for a suspect after he robbed a teen at knife point. It happened near the intersection of Church and Pine. That's where police say a suspect robbed a 14-year-old boy and got away with the suspect's backpack. The police are looking for a white male between 20 and 30 years old, short or shaved hair with a goatee. He's approximately 6 feet tall, about 180 pounds, with tattoos. He was dressed in jeans and a white tank top. If you have any information, you're asked to call the Santa Maria Police Department. A Templeton man is under arrest accused of breaking into a Paso Robles business early this morning. Police say they caught 55-year-old James Tishy climbing through a broken window at a business on the 800 block of 13th Street. He was arrested for second-degree burglary. Police say they've linked Tishy to at least 2 other recent commercial burglaries in downtown Paso. One of the 4 people involved in an Arroyo Grande cross-burning case has been sentenced to 11 years in state prison. 32-year-old Jeremiah Hernandez was found guilty last month of burning a cross next to an African-American woman's home. The three other people involved in the case, Jason Kahn, William Soto, and Sarah Matheny, pleaded no contest and were sentenced to prison in May. Some doctors here on the Central Coast are worried a synthetic drug known as bath salts are becoming more popular. Since October of 2011, it's been illegal in California to sell these types of drugs, also known as designer drugs. Nikki Ibarra joins us live from the Santa Maria newsroom. And Nikki, first of all, explain, we know the term, I've heard it in underground circles. What are bath salts?
Well, John, it's not what you think. It's not those bath salts you put in your bath. They look like it, and that's where they got its name. Basically, it's the same effect as combining methamphetamine and cocaine. Aggressiveness, paranoia are just a couple of side effects you get when you consume bath salts.
Not everything you have in the store and it says something like that. You really have to do your homework. You cannot just get that and use it without knowing what it can do to you.
It used to be available at gas stations or at tobacco shops.
In order to buy alcohol, you have to be 21. In order to buy bath salt, you have to have $5 in your pocket.
In fact, it was originally marketed towards truck drivers. Once consumed, truckers said they felt more energized. But after realizing the dangers of it, state lawmakers voted to ban them. But according to the Santa Maria Fire Department, use among young adults is on the rise.
They're scary calls for us to go on because it's something that we always have officers respond to. And usually we don't figure it out until we're kind of into it a little bit.
The Santa Barbara County Fire Department says they received 6 to 8 calls in the past 2 weeks.
People hear about it and they want to try it. They say, oh, drugs, there's a whole fashion element to drugs, which is, well, this doesn't work anymore. Here, I've got something better now.
And doctors say it's not detectable on drug tests, which entices more people to try it.
I hate to be pessimistic, but I don't see that stopping at any time soon.
And now it's being sold just like any other illegal drug. I spoke to the San Luis Obispo County Fire Department, and they haven't seen any cases of bath salts, and they say that could be because many of them go undocumented. Live and local in the Santa Maria newsroom, Nikki Ibarra, KSBY News.
Nikki Ibarra, thank you for that. Always something new to be concerned about. If you remember last week, prosecutors in the case of a former Lompoc federal prison guard accused of killing another guard said both men had what they believed to be bath salts in their systems at the time of the shooting. People in Atascadero standing up against drug problems in their community. They're gathering right now at Atascadero High School to learn more about prevention and intervention. The Greyhound Foundation is putting on a program called Lighthouse to educate students about the dangers of drugs and alcohol. Local police say they made 25 arrests last month on drug charges. Hope Hanselman is at that meeting right now. She'll be reporting for us, give us a full report on Atascadero's problems coming up at 10 and 11 o'clock tonight. Right now, the community of Paso Robles has an opportunity to voice their opinion as the search continues tonight for a new police chief. The meeting is just now getting underway at the Georgia Brown Elementary School. The search consultants hired by the city are hosting the meeting. Residents are asked to weigh in on who they think should run the department. Oral and written comments are welcome. Well, it looks like the search is on for a new public information officer for the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department. Drew Sugars announced today that he is leaving his current position. Sugars began his career in broadcasting before becoming the sheriff's PIO last year. His last day will be July 5th, and the Sheriff's Department is currently searching for his replacement. After almost 5 hours of public comment and 6 years of debate, it looks like Atascadero will be getting a Walmart after all. The Atascadero City Council came down with a unanimous vote to approve a Walmart. This they did last night. The plans are to build a 129,000 square foot store and shopping center on the north side of town. The project is estimated to bring in up to $500,000 a year and create more than 300 jobs, and is expected to open as early as 2014. Some Nipomo Mesa homeowners are speaking out tonight. They're frustrated about a nursery in their neighborhood and say dozens of semi-trucks are driving past their homes every day. The area along Camino Caballo is zoned rural residential, and as our Kelly Moore reports, this is yet another zoning issue that SLO County is faced with. Now, the big question we start with is, Kelly, is this a nursery? Is it breaking any county codes?
Well, John, the question is something that the county is going to have to answer, and right now they're investigating that. Basically, these trucks are picking up and dropping off plants. How it's zoned now, a nursery is fine. But if a nursery is a distribution center, well, that's a different story. It's not okay. And according to the owner of this nursery, he's following all the rules. But according to his neighbors, he's not.
People can't walk their dogs, people can't ride their horses.
This is where I have retired, and I love riding my horse down the road, which I can no longer do safely.
I see trucks coming and going nonstop, 18-wheelers up and down Camino Caballo, sometimes 24 hours a day. They wake us up.
A few years ago, Viva Farms bought Hesse Horticulture Nursery.
This nursery next door has just been a little mom and pop operation.
But the nursery expanded from 5 acres to now 15. And this has spurred concern from neighbors because of an increase in truck traffic.
No. Our operation, which is new to this area, is not uncommon within this state.
Plants like this are loaded into trucks in Nipomo and sent to retailers all over the state. So does that make this a distribution center?
We believe that, based on the best of our knowledge, that we're operating within our zoning here in this area.
Pyle wants to make neighbors happy.
We've changed our hours of operations.
But upset neighbors want Viva Farms out of town. Pyle says to uproot his business would cost millions.
These issues have come up in the past and have been addressed effectively and resolved. And I hope that we can do the same.
Now, I discovered today that this is not uncommon. Years ago, Oxnard was faced with similar issues, so local farmers there created the Central Coast Greenhouse Growers Association to help with these types of issues. The main issue being semi-trucks driving through neighborhoods. Live and local in the studio, Kelly Moore, KSBY News.
All right, Kelly, thanks for getting us up to date on that. The county expects to finish its investigation in the next few weeks. Another cash mob has struck on the Central Coast, this time at a restaurant in Atascadero. A cash mob is a group of people who drop in to a local company at a predetermined time to spend money in support of that business. Well, today, members of the cash mob descended on Cal Terra Italian Restaurant.
Whoever dreamt this up was brilliant, because they're scooping the entire area of wherever they're going to.
The cash mob continues until 9 tonight. Got about 3 hours left, and the restaurant plans to host an after party for the participants. After about 3 years of waiting, the work of 2 local artists is now on display for everyone to see. A bus stop in Morro Bay Park now has a warm, inviting atmosphere with a sitting room and an English-style phone booth. After talks of tearing down the building, a couple of residents decided that it wasn't necessary to tear it down, maybe just spruce it up a little bit. They went to work, drawing up ideas, getting approvals, and after 3 years, they finally made it happen.
What it means to me is, I think if you make something nice, people will take pride in it.
The benches will eventually be taken out, and a cement couch being made by another artist will be added. Circus is coming to town. Coming up, there will be stunts, tricks under the big top. Details on when you can catch the show. Plus, a question out of Nipomo tonight, why some cities have emergency sirens, but why doesn't Nipomo? The answer in tonight's Good Question. Yesterday, people in Goleta heard an emergency test for the Vinoco Elwood onshore oil facility. Well, San Luis Obispo County has an early warning system for Diablo Canyon that they test once a year for about 5 minutes, plus a 10-second test done every 3 months. Darcy Ryan from Nipomo asked this question: why doesn't Nipomo have any sirens? Well, I met with the County Emergency Services Director to find out.
When the sirens go off in San Luis Obispo County, it means there's an emergency. Check the radio or TV to see if you should evacuate.
If the siren system needed to be activated for whatever reason, that would be done by the county. So the county operates it, has control of it. PG&E owns it and maintains it.
PG&E installed the emergency sirens when it built the Diablo Canyon power plant. Federal law requires an early warning system that radiates out 10 miles from any nuclear facility. That's about from Morro Bay to Shell Beach and inland to Los Osos Valley Road in San Luis Obispo. But the county siren coverage goes farther, extending from Cayucas down to Upper Nipomo, ending north of Willow Road.
They're only located within the Diablo Canyon Emergency Planning Zone. They're not located anywhere else in the county. Not only not in Nipomo, but not in Tascadero, Paso Robles, up in Cambria. There are no early warning system sirens either.
Along with an emergency at Diablo Canyon, the county can use the system in a levee failure, tsunami, or hazardous materials spill.
There are different models of siren depending on the sound level that's needed for a particular area.
The 131 sirens sit atop telephone poles and are activated by a radio signal hitting an antenna.
Now this siren is 0322. Here's a map of the siren locations: Cayucas to the north, Oceano down south. Each one of these numbers is a siren. And right here is 0322.
The system doesn't cover the whole county, but most counties in the U.S. don't have one at all.
Now I checked with Darcy Ryan, who asked the question. She said she does live south of Willow Road, which is as far as the sirens cover. And we want to thank her for the question. Now, if you've got a good one, send it to goodquestion@ksby.com or Facebook me. The only bad question is the one you don't ask. And you can't have a bad circus. Well, if you noticed a big tent off of Highway 101 when you pass through San Luis Obispo, it's because the circus is coming to town. Circus Vargas is preparing for shows at the Madonna Expo Center. You can catch high-flying aerialists, clowns, and balancing acts, and much more under the big top. Workers and performers were busy today setting up the blue and gold big top.
Here at Circus Vargas, it's not like you just do your act, or you just work in the box office, or you just work on the setup. All of us do multiple things. We wear multiple hats.
You can catch the live show. They start Friday and run through the 4th of July. Tickets are on sale right now. For ticket info, log on to ksby.com and click on the links. 4th of July, 1 week away, but tomorrow is your first opportunity to get your hands on some fireworks. Safe and sane fireworks will go on sale in the Santa Maria area. But remember, you can only use fireworks in certain communities. In San Luis Obispo County, they are Arroyo Grande, Grover Beach, Oceano, Templeton, and San Miguel. In Santa Barbara County, Santa Maria, and Guadalupe. Now, sales of the fireworks benefit local nonprofit organizations. An Atascadero tradition that ended in the early 80s is coming back. Atascadero Mayor Bob Kelly and Councilman Jerry Clay are inviting the public out for a day-long party for the 4th of July. This is a photo of them kicking off the event. Activities start at 7 in the morning and they're going to continue all day throughout the night. It's at the Atascadero Lake Park. Organized officials say bring a picnic and enjoy music, the zoo or the pool. Lots going on there. And of course, people thinking ahead already to the 4th, wondering what it's going to look like. We're rolling into it with some pretty nice weather.
And I think this is about the kind of weather we're going to see as we get to the 4th. We'll have a little dip going into the weekend, but coming up next week, it'll be very similar to today.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. We've got a lot on the table to talk about tonight, including the big national heat wave and, of course, all that fire threat across the United States. This is Rotary Centennial Park in Santa Maria. Beautiful picture there. It was a great weather day. How long can we hold it? We'll talk about it live. Local weather, your forecast next.
Now, your live, local TrueView 6 weather forecast with meteorologist Dave Hovde.
Let's get started off. Talk about your weather headlines. Some marine clouds could form later on tonight. We saw a patch out by Vandenberg earlier today. I think we could see more widespread coverage, but I like the clearing pattern again tomorrow. Not a whole lot of change through Friday either. Slightly cooler this weekend as we get some breezier conditions, but again, by the middle of next week, we warm back up. So your day ahead looking like this. I put some beach cloud cover in there. The models are picking up on this notion. Coastal valleys, interior valleys, everybody going to be in the low to mid 50s early. Now by noon, 68 at the beach, 77 coastal valleys, 79 degrees inland. A really nice weather day again. Now by the time we get to 5 o'clock, 64 at the beach, 72 coastal valleys, 92 degrees inland. The wind's picking up to about 20 miles per hour like they were today. Across the rest of the country, the big story continues to be the heat threat, the fire threat. 22 states have some kind of heat-related warning. It's 109 in Phoenix, 98 in Topeka, it's 89 in Nashville, and this mass of heat is moving off to the east. And so you're going to hear about this tomorrow as New York City, Philadelphia, Atlanta, North Florida, all going to be under the gun. But take a look at this core of heat. All of this here in orange is all some type of warning. Again, 22 different states under heat-related warnings or advisories now. Across the west, we've got this area of low pressure and a trough that's going to swing in this weekend, but we're still out in front of it, and that means we've got more nice days ahead with high pressure just off to the west. That gives us the afternoon breeze, mild conditions, especially near the coast. Did warm up inland today with the daytime highs getting back up into the 90s. The highs, the lows, video forecast, air quality forecast, marine forecast, and more, all at ksby.com. Thursday's outlook, 94 in Paso, 70s for most of the coast, including the south coast, 80s in the Santa Ynez Valley, in fact, mid-80s possible, 91 Cuyama, 73 in Orcutt. The 5 cities, 68 Pismo, 71 in Arroyo Grande, and 72 in Napomo, 68 at Los Osos, 91 in Shandon. 68 up in Cambria, 66 Morro Bay, a really nice day there as well. 92 in Atascadero, 95 in San Miguel. Down the road, the temperatures go down, but just a little bit heading into the weekend, then stay pretty flat early next week in Santa Maria and Lompoc. San Luis in the 5 cities in your TrueView 6-day forecast, upper 70s, back off to probably the mid-70s or slightly below the second half of the forecast. Paso Robles, North County, 90s throughout, but the difference between 95 and 90 is pretty significant there in North County. And Santa Barbara in the South Coast, lower 70s return with more marine layers Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. All things considered, when you compare the Central Coast to the rest of the country, that is looking pretty good right now. John, back to you.
Boy, that's for sure, Dave. Thank you very much. A group of firefighters from the Central Coast are on their way to the front lines of the wildfire in Colorado Springs. Coming up tonight on KSBY News at 6:30. See how 18 members of Vandenberg Air Force Base Hot Shots team will help fire crews in Colorado. And 2 Central Coast swimmers try to advance in the Olympic trials. Hear from UCSB's Orlando Johnson on the eve of the NBA draft, too. We've got lots coming up in sports. Don't want to miss this. Andrew's up next.
Now, Andrew Masuda and your live local sports.
2 Santa Maria natives competed during day 3 of the U.S. Olympic swimming trials in Nebraska. Josh Pruneau tried to set up a showdown with Michael Phelps. The 18-year-old swam in the 200-meter butterfly prelims this morning. Josh finished 37th overall out of 134 swimmers with a time of 2 minutes, 1.64 seconds. He missed his spot in the semifinals against Phelps by 1.6 seconds. Pruneau has 2 events left in Omaha. 22-year-old Megan Zimmer debuted at the trials this morning. She finished 92nd overall in the 200 freestyle prelims. She missed a spot in the semis by 3 seconds. Tomorrow, Pruneau and Arroyo Grande High Zach Stevens swim in the 200 breaststroke prelims. By the way, you can catch Phelps versus Lochte Battle Part 2 at the trials on KSBY at 8 tonight. The waiting game is almost over for UCSB's Orlando Johnson. Tomorrow, he could become the first Gaucho men's basketball player taken in an NBA draft in 24 years. Johnson finished as UCSB's all-time leading scorer. In the past few months, he's gone from a projected undrafted player to a possible late first-round pick. On top of his scoring ability, the 6'5 Johnson has impressed scouts with his 6'11 wingspan and 39-inch vertical. Johnson took part in the NBA Combine a few weeks ago. He's also attended workouts for the Warriors and 10 other NBA teams. OJ says he can't wait to see where he ends up tomorrow.
Back home right now with my family, and they're definitely helping me, keep my nerves and stuff under control. And now I'm just focused on trying to make the next step, and the next step is the draft, and hopefully hearing my name called.
The draft starts at 4 p.m. tomorrow. The last Gaucho taken in a draft was Brian Shaw, who went to the Celtics in 1988. Boston, by the way, is OJ's favorite team. The Giants went for a sweep over the Dodgers by the Bay to force a first-place tie. Top of the third, Tim Lincecum skips one to the backstop. Hector Sanchez flips it to the 167-pound Lincecum, who gets bowled over by the 240-pound Chad Billingsley. He's out, so the game stays scoreless. That sparked the Giants' bottom half with runners at the corners and 2 out. Melky Cabrera goes the other way. Bobby Abreu dives but can't hold on to it. Tim Lincecum scores, so Giants led 1-0. Lincecum threw 7 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts to get his first win since April 28th. The Giants won 3-0 for the sweep to force a tie for first. It's actually the first time the Dodgers were swept without scoring a run in a series since moving to LA, so more than 50 years, and Giants got a big one there.
Yeah, it's amazing how things have flipped around here in the last few weeks.
And it doesn't look good because Andre Ethier kind of tweaked his oblique, so
another injury.
His status is up in the air.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Sure.
Firefighters across the country have a tough battle ahead of them. Still ahead on KSBY News at 6:30, we'll have the latest in the massive wildfire burning in Colorado and how local firefighters are lending their help. Plus, the countdown begins 30 days until the Summer Olympics get started. See how London celebrated the milestone.
Live, local, news. KSBY News at 6:30 starts right now.
We just need people's prayers, and we just need their good positive energy to get us through this really tough time in our lives.
Tonight, wildfires continue to ravage the state of Colorado, one of the largest of them doubling in size overnight, forcing people to flee their homes with hardly any notice. Good evening. Firefighters are struggling to get a handle on a massive wildfire around Colorado Springs that has forced the evacuation of 32,000 people. The fire is one of 6 wildfires in the state burning out of control. Gina Kim is in Colorado Springs with the latest.
It is being described as a fire of epic proportions. One of several fires burning out of control in Colorado, the Waldo Canyon fire near Colorado Springs doubled in size overnight.
This event that's going on is certainly unprecedented.
The numbers are staggering. More than 30,000 people have been forced to evacuate.
This is an active fire. It's not even remotely close to being contained.
In one of the northernmost subdivisions, dozens of homes are reduced to rubble.
We have a lot of structures that have been lost. We're hoping that area had been evacuated earlier. There were some people that refused to evacuate. We hope they got out.
For those that did get out, the sadness of seeing their homes and communities destroyed is overwhelming.
It's my childhood home.
We'll get through it. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got to get some. 65-mile-per-hour wind gusts Tuesday pushed the inferno beyond fire breaks. Fire crews are now battling the wildfire from the ground and the air. The Air Force Academy evacuated thousands from its campus. Colorado Springs isn't the only major city being threatened in Colorado. The hills around Boulder are also ablaze. In a state that is all too familiar with wildfires, this year is being called the worst fire season in Colorado history. In Colorado Springs, Gina Kim, NBC News.
A group of firefighters from the Central Coast is on its way to the front lines of the wildfire in Colorado Springs. 18 members of the Vandenberg Air Force Base Hot Shots team will be helping out fire crews in Colorado. They'll be there for 14 days. This morning, photojournalist Jason Orr met up with the firefighters as the group loaded up 3 of its trucks into a C-17 cargo plane for the 3-hour flight.
But events like in Colorado Springs right now, the fire's been going so long that they've pretty much exhausted all the localized resources, and they've been reaching out further and further. And you know things are really bad when they've reached this far to California to say, hey, we need some relief crews. There's not a lot of hotshot crews out there, so these guys bring a very big stick to the fight. They're able to do some things that the other firefighters aren't trained.
Flying a C-17, I don't think anyone on the crew ever has done that. We've been around since '78, so this is definitely a first time experience, maybe a once in a lifetime experience.
It's a 3-hour flight as opposed to a 18-hour drive.
The elevation and the heat are definitely a bit different than we have out here in Southern California, and the fuel types, it's going to be a different kind of way of fighting fire for us.
You can't always get heavy machinery in really super steep, rocky terrain, and that's kind of our specialty. We'll come in and we'll get into those areas that other people can't get into, and we're able to complete that line so that we can essentially get the fire put out.
Now, the chief says that hotshots bring a different type of attack to a firefight. They can get to places that nobody else can to fight the flames. And we also want to let you know that we've got a crew on the way to Colorado to bring us the latest on those wildfires. We're going to check in with Dan Shadwell and the crew there. Now, if you're a college student or the parent of one, you're probably dreading Monday. That's when new federal student loan rates are set to go up. But it looks like tonight, Congress and the White House will make an agreement to prevent that. Steve Handelsman has the latest.
It would be another down-to-the-wire deal, and it's not done, said House Republicans.
We're moving, I think, towards an agreement. A lot of work that's gone into this. It's not finished yet.
With no deal, student loan rates double on Monday to 6.4%. More than 7 million students would be affected. Preventing that would look like a win for President Obama. who's campaigned on the issue at schools in swing states.
You guys shouldn't have to pay an extra $1,000 just because Congress can't get its act together. You should call them, you should email them, write on their Facebook page, tweet them.
Republicans charge the president delayed agreement to fire up more students and parents to vote for him. A deal would also keep highway funding going. Democrats slammed the delay on that and on a separate Obama roads and bridges plan.
There are 3 million jobs out there for Americans that are sitting because Republicans in the House are unwilling to let us cast votes on those bills.
Boehner is going ahead tomorrow on the vote to find Obama Attorney General Eric Holder in contempt of Congress in the probe of Fast and Furious, the gun sting gone bad. And Republicans will focus on the Supreme Court, tomorrow's decision on Obamacare.
If the court does not strike down the entire law, the House will move to repeal what's left of it.
First comes student loans, 4 days till rates double. I'm Steve Handelsman, NBC News, Capitol Hill.
Now, one obstacle was the controversial Keystone Pipeline. Republicans made building it part of the highway bill that's now linked to student loans, but now they've dropped that demand. Moving to news across California, a Northern California man is lucky to be alive after he was held up by a masked gunman and it was caught on camera. Eric Gilbert was coming home at 3 a.m. Friday morning when the armed gunman approached him before he got out of his car. The robber tried not once, but 3 different times to shoot Gilbert, but the handgun didn't go off.
He pulled the trigger on him in the car, okay? Didn't go off. Then he pulled the trigger on him as he's pushing him towards his house, saying, "You better open the door, Eric, because I'm not going to open the door. My daughters are in there. I'm going to protect my kids." So he's not going to open the door. The guy pulls the trigger again. "You better open the door." Click.
Police say no arrests have been made, but they have a few leads they're following up on. Biggest lead right now is the videotape that you saw captured on Gilbert's home security camera. Looks like the number for high school graduates is up, according to the California Department of Education. Slightly more high school students graduated in 2011 than years before, with fewer dropouts. Just over 76% of students statewide earned their high school diplomas. That's up 1.5% from last year, although dropout rates do not include students who drop out before the 9th grade. 5 local athletes have qualified for the London Olympics, and today another milestone in the countdown to the start of the Games was reached. It's just 1 month now until the opening of the London Olympic Games, and today a giant 13-ton set of Olympic rings was put into place on Tower Bridge. As the city prepares, so do the athletes, but they're not the only ones getting ready. The world's media will be descending on London for the Games. The main press center also opened today. Well, it's a story of love and rebellion coming up in tonight's local spotlight. Dan Shadwell introduces us to a play that was first performed back in 1775. And now you can catch it right here on the Central Coast. Plus, the FDA may give the green light to a new diet drug that was created by a doctor on the Central Coast, while the FDA extended the review period. The new play at the PCPA was written and first performed in 1775, before America even existed. But don't let the high collars and the Renaissance setting fool you. The Rivals is the name of it, and it's full of jokes that resonate even today. As Dan Shadwell shows us, a story of love and how a dose of rebellion can make the object of one's desires immensely more attractive.
Explains that she's ready to give it all away for true love.
Oh, I lose most of my fortune if I marry without my aunt's consent till an age. And that is what I have determined to do ever since I knew the penalty. Nay, this is
what do you do when you're rich and bored? You want to do something exciting and something dangerous and something naughty that would just drive the people that you hate up the wall.
And the one she hates is her aunt, who's in charge of Lydia's every move.
The choice you have made would be my aversion. What business have you with preference and aversion?
So when a poor ensign professes his love, Lydia falls for it hook, line, and sinker.
Where I might clasp my Lydia to my bosom and say the world affords no smile to me.
Unaware her new love is not a lowly ensign, but in fact a wealthy officer, Captain Absolute.
Briefly then, Captain Absolute and Ensign Beverly are one and the same.
so he creates this completely other personality in order to woo her the way that she would like to be wooed.
It's a challenging, schizophrenic dance for the actor playing both roles. And a lot of fun to watch.
That's Dan Shadwell reporting there. The Rivals plays this weekend at the Marion Theater in Santa Maria and then moves to the Solvang Festival Theater from July 5th through the 22nd. For more info, check out the links section at ksby.com. In tonight's Healthy Living, the Food and Drug Administration has approved a new anti-obesity pill called Belviq. It's the first new prescription drug for long-term weight loss to enter the U.S. market in over a decade. The agency cleared the pill for adults who are obese or who are overweight with at least one medical complication, such as diabetes or high cholesterol. In April, the FDA delayed approval of another weight loss drug, Qnexa, and it was developed by a doctor from Los Osos. And today, the FDA panel extended the review period. That drug will go before the panel on July 17th. The Central Coast is on cruise control, but how long can things stay this good? Well, meteorologist Dave Hovde will be back with you with the TrueView 6 forecast. But first, here's a shot we took earlier today. Look at that, the big top going up for the Circus Vargas at the Madonna Expo Center. Your live local weather right after the break.
Now, your live, local TrueView 6 weather forecast with meteorologist Dave Hovde.
Thursday looks to be another great day here on the Central Coast. Let's take a look at it. Your day ahead, 54 at the beach. Some areas of cloud cover, though, could develop later on tonight, but I think they'll clear nicely. Away from the coast, I think plenty of sunshine. 68 at the beach, we'll see sunshine by noon. 77 coastal valleys, 79 degrees inland. The interior temperatures continue to warm into the 90s, while the beaches and coastal valleys still hold really nice temperatures into the latter afternoon with a northwest wind of about 15 to 20 miles per hour developing. It's 109 in Phoenix, 78 in Denver, 98 in Topeka, 96 in Dallas, 89 in Nashville. This heat wave is going to spread to the east and linger throughout the weekend. Millions more people will be impacted by the heat. Today, 22 states with some kind of warning related to that. It was a little bit cooler in Denver today. Why? We actually had some thunderstorms in parts of the Front Range today. For us, we are looking at this weather change out here. There's a trough area of low pressure starting to spin our direction. It will get here this weekend to bring temperatures down a little bit and reintroduce some marine layer. The only stuff we could really find was out here by Vandenberg and Lompoc. But I think once the winds lighten up later on tonight with warming interior temperatures, I do think we could see some patchy reformation of cloud cover later on tonight. 66 live and local in Santa Maria, 71 in San Luis, 85 in Paso Robles, 78 in Solvang, 81 in Gaviota, and 62 in Vandenberg. How about the winds? Right now they're about 10 to 15. Do you recall this time yesterday? They were 20 to 30 miles per hour. So the changes, we've got a little bit of high pressure in here over Idaho, so it wasn't quite the pressure contrast we saw yesterday, but mild conditions with the high sitting off the coast and most of the bulk of powerful low pressure sitting off in the Pacific Northwest. The changes through the end of this work week are only subtle. So 94 in Paso Robles, 78 in San Luis Obispo, 73 in Santa Maria, 84 in Santa Ynez, 73 also in Goleta. Those are wonderful daytime high temperatures, and again we'll achieve a lot of these fairly early in the day too. 68 Pismo, 71 Arroyo Grande, and 72 in Nipomo. North Coast still another pretty good day. 68 in Cambria, 66 Morro Bay. By the way, all the daytime highs, morning lows, marine forecast, and more online at ksby.com, and you can follow my forecast all the time with the TrueView 6 weather app, free and available for iPhones, Android, and iPad devices. Well, like I said, we introduce a little more cloud cover once we get into the weekend. Temperatures coming down a little bit, but we're only talking about 4 or 5 degrees when we're looking at Paso Robles conditions, and in Santa Barbara about 3 degrees of change once we start cooling things off. So we've hit a nice plateau here, and again, by contrast to the rest of the country, will be an enviable place to be because it'll be so nice, not too hot, not too cold. Most places will be too hot.
Exactly. And people will be thinking about stretching out that holiday weekend the best they can, and that whole period looks pretty decent.
Yeah, and into Wednesday next week looks really
Sounds
nice.
good.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Uncle Sam wants you still ahead how the military is working on a smartphone app to recruit new members and train them. Plus, move over iPad and Kindle. Google is joining the tablet world. How much the Nexus will run you, we'll tell you. We have an update now on the standoff we've told you about in breaking news out of Santa Barbara. The police have searched every room of a house that they had surrounded and have confirmed that there is no one inside. Just an hour ago, the police had the 100 block of North Milpas Street shut down. A woman, witnesses said they saw her with a gun and 2 children involved, but we do not have any facts on that. Now, the Air Force Reserves are taking app applications. Innovation News Daily reports military leaders are looking for someone to design an app to help recruits adjust to basic training in military life. The app wish list is long and includes a feature to combine exercise and nutrition, count calories based on pictures of foods taken by the phone. And Google entered the tablet computer market today with the unveiling of the Nexus 7. It runs the latest version of Google's Android operating system and is designed to work with Google Play. It's something that has excited Dave Hovde.
I am. I think that price is right. Front-facing camera. It's going to be good.
And no commissions, though, for you on the sale of this thing.
Well, not yet.
Not yet. All right. Well, we'll be following our all the stories that we've been covering. We'll have more for you at 10 and 11 tonight.
Good night.
See you then.